So in today's lesson, we're going to look at velocity and acceleration. So there's only one learning objective today. It is being able to recall and use the relationship acceleration equals the change of velocity divided by time taken. And of course, there is an equation in red which you also have to be able to use. So the first thing we have to look at is looking at velocity. So what is velocity? Well, velocity of a body is the speed, which we looked at in the previous lesson, so how fast something's going, but it is in a given direction. Okay, so if you look at the image here of this aeroplane doing the loop-de-loop, the aeroplane opposite might have a constant speed. Okay, so it's moving at a constant speed, but its velocity is changing because its direction of motion is changing. It's going up and then it's going down, so its velocity is changing. So in terms of acceleration, acceleration is this velocity change over the time it takes. Okay, so A equals V minus U divided by T, where A is the acceleration in meters per second squared, or meters per second per second. V is the final velocity in meters per second, which is the same units as speed. And U is the initial velocity, the beginning velocity at meters per second. And T is the time it takes for this acceleration to occur. So why is acceleration measured in meters per second per second? Well, as we just said in the previous slide, acceleration is velocity change divided by time taken. So velocity change is measured in meters per second. Time taken for that change to occur is in seconds. If you divide meters per second by seconds, you get meters per second per second. Okay, or meters over seconds squared. So just a few other notes around acceleration and velocity. The difference between speed and velocity. So often, but not always, you can use just the speed in the equation. You don't necessarily have to just use the velocity, but that will be different depending on the direction of the object, so you have to be careful with that. The change in velocity is V minus U, or the final velocity, the velocity you end up with, minus the initial velocity. Deceleration is when acceleration is negative, and that's when the speed is decreasing with time. So when it's increasing with time, it's positive acceleration, and if it's decreasing, it means it's decelerating or slowing down. And circular motion at a constant speed, the acceleration is occurring because the direction of motion is continually changing, and hence so its velocity is. So looking at the loop-to-loop of the plane in a circle, okay, even though its speed is constant, its velocity is changing, or there is acceleration, because the direction of the plane is changing.